Amazon Sponsored Display is one of the most underrated ad products on the Amazon platform. If you think it's just retargeting, you're already behind. Today, I'm going to show you how the top world-class brands are using Sponsored Display, and I'm going to walk you through a real-life example. We're going to go ahead and get started. So the first thing you do when you want to access Sponsored Display is go to your ads console, click Create Campaign. It's in the Campaign Manager here, Create Campaign, and go to Sponsored Display. So first things first, you want to understand what exactly you can do with it, right? So most people think it's just a retargeting type of ad product. It's actually much more than that. So first thing you could do, you could select the ad format. It could be an image or a video. Pretty simple stuff. You can advertise and drive people to your storefront or your product page. We generally use it as a product page driver just because it helps the most with conversions. And so we're going to walk through a couple of examples. Select the product you want to advertise. A lot of the products that you may want to advertise may not be eligible because of reviews or you're not getting enough traffic depending on the type of campaign you want to run. So just keep an eye out for that. Amazon will show you which products you are eligible to advertise with for sponsored display. First things first, we're going to walk through what this optimization strategy means and the best practice for these. So first, we're going to optimize for reach. And so generally speaking, reach is done primarily as exactly what it says, for reach. It's not necessarily for sales or conversion. And the immediate question is, why would you ever do this? Well, it's actually it's a pretty nice tool to have when you're just trying to optimize for scale. So think of if you're a big brand and you're trying to reach a specific audience, you're trying to just get your brand out there. It's a great tool to leverage, and it's done on a CPM basis, which is a cost per 1,000 impressions. So what this means is you are willing to pay $4 per 1,000 viewable impressions. So what's an impression? An impression is considered, let's just say your ad is shown, a sponsored display ad typically would live right here, right? And so if you just scroll, that's considered an impression. So again, not super optimized for conversions, right? Because technically, even if I don't click on this, you're paying for it. So it's really nice from a scale perspective and just overall branding. We don't typically use reach just because we're primarily focused on conversions. So if you're a beginner, I would definitely not use reach. The second optimization strategy you can look at is page visits. So this is a really nice way to control the amount of traffic you drive, and much similar, and it operates much like sponsored products. So you get charged on a per click basis. So what's really nice is you can take currently what your click, your CPCs are, your cost per clicks are for your sponsored products campaign, and just put the CPC here. And so it's really nice because you can look at what you're currently paying per click for your sponsored products campaigns and then input that cost per click right here. So this is really nice when you're just trying to do apples to apples comparison with sponsored products, make sure you're driving clicks at a really profitable rate. And so you could take what, sort of your profitable CPCs are with your sponsored products campaigns and put them here. If you don't know what this is, I would start low and just go $1. I'm not sure you can do 50 cents. You can do 50 cents, but you're probably not going to get a lot of impressions or clicks. So I generally like to anchor around $1 if you're doing page visits. Lastly, if you want to optimize for conversions, this is a really nice way to drive really profitable sales. So how this works is you can input a cost per order. And so I'm going to show you a real life example of what this actually looks like. So let's just say you're running sponsored products and you want to activate sponsored display. I'm just making up these metrics here. So what this looks at is your ad spend, your ad sales, your ad orders, and your cost per order. So this is a metric that's not necessarily shared with you in your sponsored products ad console. And so what this does is just calculates how much did it cost me to acquire an order. And so you do get these three metrics from your ads console. And so all you really do is just divide your ad sales by ad orders. And that's your cost per order. How much did it cost me to drive one order on sponsored products? The reason why I'm showing you this is because it'll give you a nice little benchmark of what you're willing to pay from a cost per order standpoint. Amazon will also recommend a cost per order, but it's really highly recommended that you develop your own cost per order. Of course, you can even do different cost per order KPIs or key performance indicators. You maybe want to be a little bit more profitable in this product, and say you're more profitable at $75 cost per order or whatever it is, right? It could be 10, 12, 14 based off of the desired margin that you want. So you can input whatever you'd like here. I believe the minimum is $10. So just be cognizant of that. Oh, looks like you can go down to 5. So this is really nice. Now, the challenge with this is sometimes as a brand owner, you're saying, oh, I want to just pay $1 per order or 5, right? Well, sometimes the Amazon system will not deliver enough impressions or clicks for you because it's such a low cost per order. And so what this is really telling Amazon to do is go acquire customers for me at $5 an order. If you do not see any traffic, you'll probably have to increase to 6 or 7 or 8. It requires a lot of manual oversight. And so I recommend starting with something you feel really comfortable with, and don't, go super low unless you really feel like you can drive conversions at that point. So go with what sort of existing data you have on your sponsored products campaigns, and then input that cost per order here. So we really like this for driving sales. Almost all the time we use page visits or conversions. And so I would test both and see what you think in terms of performance. All right, let's get to audience targeting. So what is sponsored display? So the key difference between sponsored display and sponsored products, as an example, is sponsored products is based off of keyword targeting. That is not what sponsored display is. Sponsored display is based off of audience targeting. So what's audience? What's an audience? An audience could be someone that visited your product detail page but did not convert. An audience could be someone really likely to purchase your product based off of their previous shopping behavior. An audience could be someone that's currently looking for your product or in the category of your product. So say they looked at a competitor. So again, not keyword-based targeting, which is generally, I would say, higher intent. Now, with that being said, there's a lot of audiences that could be really high intent for you. As an example, a remarketing audience is really highly valuable. So these are essentially people that have viewed your products but have not purchased. That's a pretty highly engaged audience, right? And so that's a nice way to sort of convert customers that were really interested in your product but did not buy immediately. So what you could do is you could say anyone that viewed the advertised product, this product right here, in the past 30 days, and you can bid on that. So really nice way to optimize for this specific audience. Now, keep in mind when you look at this, oftentimes you won't be able to input a suggested bid. So again, when you allow Amazon to bid for you, it's going to put the suggested bid for you. So really important to know that. That's what remarketing is. Always recommend to have some sort of remarketing turned on because, again, it's highly valuable customers that are engaged with your brand, engaged with your product, but have not yet purchased. Other audiences, you have contextual. So these are essentially customers that are viewing products within your category. So highly engaged. The analogy I like to use is, think of if you're a customer in a shopping aisle or in a grocery store and you're in the beauty department or specifically the soap department. That's a really engaged customer or highly likely or in market for something that is similar to your brand. So it's a really nice way to drive a lot of scale. And so these ads show up on product detail pages, show up on the search pages. So we also like to use this when we're optimizing for a little bit more scale and reach for our products. In market. So in market is a little bit lower in the funnel than contextual. So contextual is, again, it's similar to your product, similar to the category, and a lot more broad. So you can kind of see the different categories you can add here. It's more at the category based level. In market is specifically looking at in market for, say, a body cleanser, right? And so how Amazon looks at this is they have what they call first party shopping data. So this is customers that are actively browsing body cleansers within a specific time period. It's usually 30 days, but sometimes they change the look back window. But again, highly engaged audience. Really nice when you're trying to grow a category or grow your brand beyond sort of people just searching for, say, soap on Amazon. And so really nice way to, again, activate a larger pool of customers that would be likely interested in your brand. Lastly, interest in lifestyle audiences. Again, be very careful when targeting these audiences. We don't recommend it if you're sort of a new advertiser, new brand, and you're really just trying to drive sales. This is really specifically for brands that are looking to expand their categories. So say, as an example, we sell Castile soap. A Castile soap is a really niche type of soap. It's an olive oil based soap. Well, unfortunately, that category may not be as big as we want it to be, right? But say we know, let's say Verizon sort of customers really like Castile soap, right? That's a great way for us to target similar type of customers and expand the category. This is really useful, again, if you're a bigger brand or you're in a category that needs sort of expansion beyond the current niche that you're in. Generally not great at driving sales, but great at driving awareness and reach. And so I would highly recommend this only if you feel like you're tapped out of your current market and you need to expand the category. Lastly, on the creative, again, no real big learnings here other than you could choose the image, you could do a custom image, you can have Amazon create one for you. So hopefully this was helpful, sort of a step-by-step tutorial. We also have a SOP guide that we will share with anyone that is interested in. Comment SOP if you want access to that SOP and we'll send it to you. And hopefully you guys like this sponsored display tutorial. Again, if you think it's just retargeting, you're already behind. It's one of the most underrated ad products. Right now, it makes up about 5 to 10% of overall budget for us, for a lot of brands. So I would recommend looking at sponsored display ASAP. Again, like, subscribe, comment SOP if you want our SOP on how to launch these campaigns, step-by-step guide. I'll be back for more. See y'all later.